All right, if you're a first-time home buyer anywhere in Ontario, you're going to want to stop what you're doing and listen to this. We're about to break down a brand new tax incentive that could be a total game changer for you. And trust me, it's one of the biggest opportunities the province has rolled out in a long, long time.
And look, we're not talking about some minor tweak to the rules here. No way. People in the know are calling this a rare, once-in-a-generation kind of opportunity. It's a huge shift that you can actually plan your future around, and that's exactly what we're going to help you figure out today.
So, what are the stakes? You ready for this? This is the number that should make you sit up and pay attention. We are talking about potential savings of up to, get this, $130,000. Seriously. That is not a typo. It's a massive amount of money that could completely change the game for any first-time buyer.
Okay, a number like that sounds almost too good to be true, right? So where does it come from? Let's dive in and break down the mechanics of this rebate so you can see how it goes from being a government announcement to actual cash back in your pocket.
Okay, so here's the core of how this works. You know when you buy a new home, you've got to pay HST, right? Well, what a lot of people don't realize is that the HST is actually made up of two parts. A federal part and a provincial part. What Ontario is proposing to do is give first-time buyers a full rebate of its entire 8% provincial slice. That right there, that's the engine driving this whole thing.
Now, it's not a flat rate for everyone. It's actually tiered based on how much the home costs. So here's how it breaks down. For any new home up to $1 million, boom, you get the full provincial rebate. If the price is between 1 and 1.5 million, the rebate starts to phase out. And for any new home over that 1.5 million mark, well, this particular incentive won't apply.
So let's see what this looks like in the real world. Imagine you're buying a new home for, say, $950,000. That puts you right in that sweet spot for the full rebate. The bar on the left, that's what you'd pay without this new incentive. And the one on the right, that's your cost with it. That giant gap between them, that's your savings. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars that you don't have to roll into your mortgage.
So, the savings are obviously huge. But now for the million-dollar question, or maybe the $130,000 question, are you eligible to claim it? Let's run through the essential checklist.
And you really need to pay attention here because the rules are super specific. First up, you have to be a true first-time home buyer. And they are serious about this. It means you can't have owned a home anywhere in the world ever. Second, the property has to be a new build or what they call substantially renovated. That's a legal term, so you'll want to get that confirmed. Third, you've got to be an Ontario resident. And finally, and this is a big one, you have to plan on living there. It has to be your principal residence.
And let me just be crystal clear on that last point because it's absolutely crucial. The government designed this program to help people buy homes to live in them, not to help investors build up a rental portfolio. So if you're thinking of buying a place to rent out, this rebate isn't for you. It has to be your main home, period.
All right, so let's say you're eligible and you get how much you can save. You might be thinking, awesome, I'll just keep this in my back pocket and wait for the perfect time. But you might want to rethink that. There's a real urgency factor here that you need to understand, because a program this big is going to make waves in the market.
Which leads to the obvious question, right? So what's the rush? If this policy is here to stay, why the big hurry? Well, it all comes down to some pretty simple economics.
I mean, just think about it. You've just made it tens of thousands of dollars cheaper for a whole bunch of people to buy a very specific thing, new homes. What happens? Well, demand is going to shoot up. You'll have thousands of new buyers all jumping into the market competing for the same limited supply of new-build homes. And when that happens, basic economics tells us that prices are likely to go up, which could start to eat away at the very savings this rebate is supposed to give you.
And really, that's the choice you're facing. This isn't just about waiting versus not waiting. It's a clear choice between taking action and doing nothing. And in this kind of market, that decision could literally mean the difference between locking in a life-changing amount of savings or watching that same opportunity get swallowed up by rising prices. So, this brings us to the most important part of all of this. We've talked about the what and the why. Now let's talk about the how. You have the info, you get the urgency, so what's the playbook? What are the smart, practical things you can do right now to put yourself in the best possible spot? Here you go. It's a simple 3-step plan. First, start talking to your realtor and your lawyer about structuring a purchase agreement. Even if all the final details of the law aren't ironed out, you can get the paperwork ready.
Second, get your financing pre-approved and locked in. You need to know exactly what you can afford so you're ready to move fast. And third, double, no, triple check that you meet every single eligibility requirement. A little bit of smart planning right now is what's going to give you the edge.
And that's really what this all comes down to, isn't it? For so many people who felt like homeownership was just slipping out of reach, this is a massive deal. It's a direct, substantial leg up. So the final question isn't for me to answer, it's for you. Could this historic rebate be the key that finally unlocks the door to a home of your own?